I've been thinking lately. Being rich kind of sucks if you don't have any peace. So what do I mean by that, right? Well, what I mean is I think I'd rather... Oh, there's a lizard. I don't know where that lizard went. Oh, there you are. No? Okay. I think I would rather... Oh, wait a minute. Keep missing it. It was a blue-tailed lizard. I'd rather be broke or have like medium, moderate money and have a lot of peace than be rich and not have peace. Now, this also goes for women, unfortunately. Maybe I'll just sit here. The goal of finding a woman for me is to find a woman that makes my life more peaceful. And I don't know if it's women or if it's always been like this. Or if men changed. I don't know what changed. But most women that I date or talk to don't make my life more peaceful. They make me emotional. And it's weird because I act unusual. I act weird. I don't usually, I'm not usually emotional at all. But when I talk to women, the second I start actually caring about them, once you cross that line where you go from thinking, all right, this is just I don't know. Sometimes you put down a line to keep them from making you emotional. And once you cross that line, you say nah, I really care about you. That's when my feelings just start to get hurt, And more importantly, that's when I just start not feeling peaceful. But if I could find a wife that made my life peaceful or even made me feel the same amount of peace as I usually just feel anyways when I'm single, then that'd be great. I'd be fine. Let me show you guys this cool view. We're out here in the Chesapeake Bay this week. Let's see. Can I zoom in? Just a second. So over here we have some birdhouses. And then over there is one of my favorite houses on the bay. I think it's pretty cool. Over here we got a cool beach. And then over there we have some cliffs that are pretty fun to kayak to. And yeah. My problem, and I'll go back to money soon. I'll go back to money because my video has a dual meaning. In one sense, I'm talking about in relationships, and in one sense, I'm talking about... Sorry, I just wanted to look at the microphone quick. Okay. In one sense, I'm talking about money. Sorry, forgot which one it was. When I do something like here, or what I'm doing here, where I just sit down and I look at the bees doing their work, and I look at nature, and I look at the birds flying around, and I take in the beauty of life. And nobody's adding any problems for me to solve. Did I show you guys this part? I really like that whole element there. I love that road. It's beautiful. But, you know, the only problems when you're single to solve are your own problems. And that might sound selfish, but if you're the type of person who, when they hear a problem, they can't help but try to go into fixing it mode, when you start to hear a person you care about has problems that they want to solve, what you're going to do is you're going to try to solve them. So now you feel like you have two people's problems to solve at once. And it's not peaceful. But you know, I don't have any particular feeling about being single. Let me show you this other side. You know, I don't have any particular feeling about being single. I really don't, you know. I'm not really single because, oh, forget women or something like that. I don't hate women or anything. I'm single because nothing can really beat it for me right now. It's just the most comfortable. It's kind of weird, you know? Like, you'd think being in a relationship would be better, but maybe it is for the right person. I don't know. Hopefully. But the reason I'm single is, you know, when I sit down alone in the morning and I get to look at something like this, and I get to watch animals do their thing, and I get to sit, just enjoy nature, just me and nature and the beauty of it all, I feel more peace than when I'm in most relationships. And I kind of feel more contentness than when I'm in most relationships. And a lot of dating for people my age is just, it's just ridiculousness. It's just baloney. I mean, people are just, it's just stressful. We're not here, you know what it is? I think we're not adapted to this new age of technology. I think women don't understand the type of stress that a man goes through just due to the fact that women have phones and they have the internet 24/7. And that, I think that actually stresses men out. Whether or not you realize it, I think it stresses people up. And I think that's why a lot of men are choosing to be single, because it's just something that we're not adapted to biologically yet. If you think about it, you know, we've never had to deal with that throughout history. And women too. You know, I know men that talk to tons of different people all at once, in relationships, in this and that. You know, the point I'm trying to make is men aren't adapted to that type of stress. And I think it would be quite peaceful if you were in a relationship with a woman that didn't have a phone. If the internet didn't exist, I think that would be quite peaceful, because you're not going to be stressing about who's DMing her 24/7. You're not going to be stressing about who's asking for her number. You're not going to be thinking about that stuff all the time, because it's not an issue. It's not a thing. You're not going to be wondering like what your partner is reading online that's going to make them think some weird thing, whether it's a man or a woman. People can just look up echo chambers of whatever they want and kind of just justify their own behaviors, no matter whether you're a man or a woman. You can look up some type of echo chamber or discussion forum that will tell you that you're right. And it's all getting just delusional. So, anyways, the point is, I haven't found anything that's more peaceful at the moment than being single, unfortunately. And I think that peace is its own form of wealth. In fact, if you think about it, peace is the new rich, isn't it? Now, let's talk about a new thing. Would I rather have peace, or would I rather have money? Well, here's the good news. You can probably have both. I'm pretty sure you can have both. I don't know why you wouldn't. But I'm sure that money can make it much easier for peace to go away. Maybe your peace will be a little more volatile, especially if there are multiple people involved. Check that out. I think peace, man, just comes from not being in relationships that stress you out unnecessarily. Now, I'm not saying that don't be in any relationship that stresses you out at all, because that's probably not going to ever happen. But don't be in a relationship that stresses you out for no reason. I mean, don't be in a relationship that's ridiculous and is unnecessary in the way that it stresses you out, There are levels to it. Like, there's necessary stress in a relationship, and there's unnecessary. Secondly, I've been thinking about, if I should all right, just gotta wait for this boat to leave. What's the real joy in life, I think money is like a nice tool to get what you really want, treating money like a tool is pretty cool. I think that's a good behavior or attitude to go about money. Because for me, what I really want is, me personally, I like beauty, I love this. Those clouds over there. That's amazing to me. And for me personally, if I can just go live somewhere where I can look at visual beauty every day and drink some coffee, and work on writing. That's my dream life. Like, for me personally, that's everything I want. So, my YouTube is monetized. The idea is I would make money from YouTube to live my dream life. And ironically, my dream life is to live in a minimalistic kind of way. Enjoy the free things in life, like nature and stuff. I personally love tropical environments. They're my favorite. And to write. Now, I know some people don't believe in this, but a long time ago, actually, I'm not sure if I should say that. I might say it later. I might tell you guys later. But I'll have to think about that one. But yeah, so the point is, what's your dream life? For me, that's my dream life, and it's very simple. It doesn't even require that much money. All I need is just enough to get by, and then be happy. So, happiness and peace doesn't necessarily require a whole lot of money, unless what makes you happy is having money in and of itself, which maybe that does make you happy. Maybe you treat money as a hobby, but I don't know. If you think that there's a certain amount of money that will make you happy, and then you'll be good, that's probably not true, because you probably just want more money later. But yeah, my goal is just to have peace in life, you know? And the last thing is, have you ever met kind of like a grandpa type of person? And they just have so much, they're so peaceful, One person I think of that's like that on YouTube is like Ryan Trahan. That guy is always seems so peaceful if you watch his videos, Like, he's just living in his own little world. And it's hard to explain, but like even the way that he just gets into his pajamas to go to bed. Being cute, no homo, and being peaceful, like being like a cute person, like an innocent person, and being peaceful go hand in hand. Peace is found through innocence. You're not going to be peaceful if you're hooking up with as many people as you can, right? Probably not. You're going to be pissed off all the time and mad and thinking about, oh, this person crossed me and this person did that to me and this person left me. And that's why innocence and, if you ask me, just living a life according to the books is a peaceful way to go about life. Another person who I think of that seemed so rich in having peace in his life was my grandpa. And again, the common denominator was kind of just like a childlike innocence throughout his life. He was just like a really good dude. And I think just being a good dude and kind of innocent, innocuous, I don't know if innocuous is the right word, but just be an innocent person. And it's not too late if you're not one. You can become one. You can... I think the prize for that is peace, just like happiness, contentment, kind of like joy. So yeah, this video was kind of all over the place, I will admit. Not as strongly worded as some of my other videos, but this has been my own little therapy session with everyone. And basically the takeaway from this video is that you don't need a lot of money to find peace. Money doesn't necessarily equate to peace. And for the time being in a relationship does not necessarily correlate to peace. As well as an open-ended question that I cannot really find an answer for, which is, are there any relationships that make your life more peaceful as a man? I don't know. I mean, there definitely are. They're probably just hard to find. But yeah, I was wondering if anyone else felt this way about relationships too, you know? Are there any, like, can other men relate to that? I guess is my question. All right, I'm gonna take one last look at this beauty. Let's see. All right, Andrew Cole out.